With Republican President Donald Trump's approval rate in the gutter, it's looking more than likely that a Democrat will win the 2028 election. It's too early to say for certain who this Democrat will be, since just like 2020, there will be a lot of candidates on the debate stage, but one gambling website, which I refuse to name out of hatred, has predicted it will be California Governor Gavin Newsom. He is seen as a moderate and not really liked by a lot of Democrat voters, but for this video, we're going to ignore all of his other policies and focus solely on how he feels about AI regulation. His job as governor of California puts him on the front lines of AI development, since the state is home to Silicon Valley. His opinions on the topic have changed over the years, so we'll go in order from oldest to newest takes. 2024 SB 1047, September 29, 2024. The 2024 election would be the first one to have AI media deceiving voters. So on September 17, 2024, Gavin Newsom signed a bill requiring large online platforms to remove or label AI-generated content relating to elections. Around this time, he also signed some legislation protecting the likeness of actors against deepfakes. Now, I don't disagree with any of these laws, but I don't think they're taking regulation far enough, and I want to see change that actually matters rather than a bunch of fence-sitting and easy decisions. During this time, Newsom was no stranger to being a spineless stress sideliner who couldn't stand up to big tech. One example, which I actually read about in If Anyone Builds It, Everyone Dies, was the Safe and Secure Innovation for Frontier Artificial Intelligence Models Act, or SB 1047. The bill was sponsored by California State Senator Scott Viner and would have implemented policies like requiring AI companies to have a kill switch in case models were misused or went rogue, making the companies liable for harm caused by their models, requiring risk assessments by the government, and would be applied to companies that spend more than $100 million to train models. Though OpenAI opposed the bill, it otherwise had a lot of momentum, with big AI figures like Elon Musk and Geoffrey Hinton signing a letter to Newsom urging him to sign it. However, even after SB 1047 passed through the state Senate 29-9, Gavin Newsom vetoed it on September 29, 2024, ending the progress towards AI regulation. He worried it would stall innovation in the industry and neglected smaller upstarts, which he believed could be just as damaging as the more expensive AI models the bill targeted. Gavin Newsom left the door open on AI regulation by organizing the Joint California Policy Working Group on AI in late 2024 to look into potential action for the future. As the following year rolled around, the Joint California Policy Working Group on AI wrote a 53-page paper of policy recommendations after Gavin Newsom's request. The first in the nation report on sensible AI guardrails emphasized the importance for setting up regulation now rather than waiting for problems to appear, saying it would be a good foundation for innovation rather than a way to paralyze it, and stressed AI disclosure and transparency among other things. This paper would influence the following events. Scott Viner, the man who sponsored and co-authored the last bill, would not give up after it was rejected. In 2025, he authored the Transparency in Frontier Artificial Intelligence Act, or SB 53, which was a lot more watered down than the last bill, but still helpful. As the name suggests, it was very focused on making big AI companies more transparent, like protecting whistleblowers, requiring them to report safety incidents to the state, and letting the public know their safety protocols. It also had provisions focused on catastrophic damage caused by AI, like more than 50 deaths or $1 billion in damage. Gavin Newsom felt that this bill reached more of a middle ground between protecting AI innovation and the public, and signed it into law on September 29, 2025, 1 year after vetoing the previous bill. So by now, Gavin Newsom was cautiously warming up to AI regulation, but not making a lot of big changes. This doesn't indicate that he didn't care about the issue, but rather that he was aware of the limitations to his action. As I said earlier, he's the governor of Silicon Valley's home state. So though that gives him a lot of leverage, he's still not the president. If he got too tough on tech, there's not much stopping the companies from just packing their bags and move into a more lenient state. Nonetheless, it wouldn't be his last effort on AI. 2026 Executive Order N626. On May 21st, 2026, Gavin Newsom signed Executive Order N626, which aimed to address job displacement from AI. It gave the Department of Finance, the Labor and Workforce Development Agency, Governor's Office for Business and Economic Development, and other partners 90 days to issue a review of the potential workforce impacts of new technology. The executive order requires the Employment Development Department to comb through unemployment insurance data and report twice a year on how businesses have used technology for hiring or making workforce decisions. It also requires the Labor and Workforce Development Agency to review potential safety nets for displaced workers, like giving them severance pay, stock in the company, and to look at how other countries are tackling the problem. Moreover, they want to see how the voices of workers are being addressed and how labor unions are responding to the changes. This executive order is quite expansive, and I'm sure sure a lot of the stuff I went over may have gone over your head, so I'm gonna summarize more of what the idea is here. Gavin Newsom is requiring multiple government agencies to look into how AI is being implemented into the workforce and find solutions to the problems being created. The broader goal is to find out how AI can be used to advance the public good and then report back to Newsom with a review of the findings. Now, here's the most important part. Private businesses don't have to comply with anything yet. The whole executive order is instead looking to investigate how AI is affecting the workforce to ready the government for future action. It's like they're studying for a test that they haven't taken yet. So it's still important since it shows that California is preparing for mass layoffs from AI development and will be making laws to address it. That's my video on Gavin Newsom. I was going to make it right after he signed the recent executive order, but that happened at the same time as Pope Leo's encyclical, and y'all voted to hear about that first. If y'all would like a video on another presidential candidate or different person or literally anything else, then let me know in the comments. That's about it. Goodbye.